meeting underway right now to discuss its future. But the actual vote on a key piece, City Hall itself, now on hold. Thanks for joining us this midday. I'm Kara Sewell. That story is developing right now. Dallas City Hall, designed by a renowned architect, its distinct inverted pyramid shape, recognized worldwide. City leaders are weighing a costly renovation or a fresh start, a debate that actually ended up in court. WFAA political reporter Natalie Haddad joins me with the latest. What's going on, Natalie?
Hey, good midday to you, Kara. Today, Dallas City Council members remain divided over what to do with the historic City Hall. And as we speak, discussions remain ongoing, but a lawsuit is putting the brakes on making any major decisions on the building. Council members Adam Bazaldua and Paula Blackman got a temporary restraining order Tuesday, saying they need more time and more information before deciding the building's future. The judge agreed with them in the lawsuit. They argue the city was trying to rush the decision without fully briefing all council members. It also says they were not following its own financial guidelines or giving the public enough notice about what was being considered. Still, many have already taken to the mic at Dallas City Council to share how they feel about staying or leaving 1500 Marilla Street, including former mayor of Dallas, Ron Kirk.
It's just not a functional, workable building. And so I hope you will set aside that emotion and just make a sound business decision. If you're going to spend probably $500 million just to bring this to code, look at the opportunities instead of spending, of investing that money in a new vision, in a new plan for this area.
Ron Kirk was the mayor 25 years ago in Dallas. Right now, City Council is reviewing a presentation detailing the financial details of what it would take to stay in City Hall and what it would take to leave it. The presentation also lays out city debt and other areas needing funding. Now, we do have a crew inside City Council, our very own Kevin Reese. He's going to have more on this in our later newscast on WFAA, so certainly you'll want to stay tuned for that. Kara?
Yeah, there's a lot of people invested in this outcome. Thank you so much, Natalie. Okay, this midday, we have Eric Lopez, our traffic anchor, here to talk about some different construction projects. Who's being impacted?
You know, it's all across Dallas County right now.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to start everyone in Richardson. That's where we're seeing really every day at this hour, I feel like something on 75, right? But they have to get it done when there's a little less volume than the morning drive. So unfortunately, this is the time, or fortunately. 75 at Mid-Park southbound is going to be one of those areas. Again, coming through the Richardson stretch for you, we are seeing things really bottleneck. We do have a right lane closed, not a full closure, but even with that one lane going from multiple open, closing one, it is causing a little bit of a congestion spot for us. So we're seeing just some yellow up to about Campbell Road, no heavy red. I think it looks a little bit more deceiving from this camera, but either way, something you want to watch out for. The second area that we are watching for you this midday, 35 East southbound and Wycliffe, we've got that right lane closed. We had this yesterday as well. The ramp is not closed. You can still exit off of 35E here, but just something to be aware of. And then along Loop 12 and Shady Grove is the third stretch that I'm following. Same thing with a right lane, right shoulder closure where crews are doing some work along the area. Really not showing any change in color on the map, still mostly green. If you need to travel that way, as far as what we're seeing outside of those construction areas, 75 in Collin County moving nicely. If you need to head out around 15th Street in Plano, no issues to report. Kara?
Well, we have new details from an overnight shooting in Fort Worth. A man was arrested after police say he shot someone in the mouth. According to a press release from Fort Worth PD, Jeremiah Smith shot a guy changing his tire at a gas station off South Freeway and Rendon Crowley Road. He then returned to the scene and shot at police. Fort Worth PD says this was a targeted attack. The victim was taken to the hospital and will be okay.
Guilty. He's found guilty. He was found guilty.
Carmelo Anthony is spending his first full day behind bars after a Collin County jury found him guilty of the murder of Austin Metcalf at a track meet and sentenced to 35 years. This was a case talked about all over social media and covered nationally since it began. With the trial over, family and loved ones on both sides are looking to move forward. Chris Otteke followed the case for us and has the latest.
The emotion in this case had built up for more than a year and finally hit a crescendo in the courtroom and also out here in the parking lot when the verdict was read. That verdict, Carmelo Anthony, guilty of murder, sentenced to 35 years in prison.
I'm sick. I just feel like there was so much that wasn't taken into consideration. It was so fast.
I think that poor decisions were made, and this is a sad outcome, but justice was served.
As they've been all trial long, supporters of both the Anthony and Metcalf families were in the parking lot when the verdict was read, and that's when things finally boiled over with lots of emotion. However, things did remain peaceful. In closing arguments, prosecutor Bill Werski told the jury, "You do not get to meet a shove with a stab, especially when you provoke a shove." It did not take the jury long. They returned the guilty of murder verdict less than 3 hours after closing arguments ended. Our reporter Joe Manponiker was in the courtroom and said Carmelo Anthony could be seen crying at the defense table when he learned his fate. In the punishment phase, Anthony's mother took the stand, testified her son is sorry for what happened, and asked the jury, "Have mercy on my son." Before the jury deliberated once more and decided on a sentence of 35 years in prison. Anthony was remanded into custody, and this is a new mugshot. Afterwards, the Metcalf family did not speak themselves, but Austin's brother Hunter stood next to District Attorney Greg Willis as he made a statement for them.
Their strength and grace throughout this unimaginable journey has been inspiring. They won't be taking questions at this time, but their presence here speaks volumes about their commitment to seeking justice for Austin.
And we learned there were 2 arrests out here in the parking lot, but neither for any kind of assault or violence. One was for public intoxication, the other for an unlawful weapons warrant. I'm Chris Sadeghi, now back to you.
We brought you continuous coverage of the verdict and sentencing on our streaming app WFA+. You can watch that live reaction with the After the Trial special on demand right now. New at midday, a judge is hearing arguments right now in a lawsuit involving last year's deadly floods at Camp Mystic. Parents of some of the victims filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Today's hearing will determine if the lawsuit will stay in public court or be forced into arbitration. Last month, this hearing was delayed after Camp Mystic's attorney filed motions that gave them an opening to argue the hearing was no longer needed. And a live look at Wall Street as investors react to President Donald Trump's latest comments on Iran. The Dow Jones down about 500 right now. President Trump today is posting on social media a new threat to Iranians who say they are now reassessing negotiations. Both sides traded strikes in the last 24 hours. Trump ordered the U.S. response after saying the Iranians downed an American helicopter. ABC's Olivia Rubin is following all the developments.
Today, President Trump with a striking threat to Iran amid stagnant negotiations, saying they will, quote, pay the price for taking, quote, too long to make a deal.
We're going to be attacking them and attacking them very hard.
You're resuming bombing?
Yeah, well, we are. Based on the helicopter, I guess we have the right to do that.
The warning coming after new escalations, the two sides trading strikes, the U.S. launching a response after the downing of an American helicopter, hitting air defense, ground control stations, and surveillance radar sites near the Strait of Hormuz. Iran launching missiles back in countries where the U.S. has military bases, Kuwait and Bahrain saying they were intercepted. The new strikes testing the fragile 2-month ceasefire, as an Iranian official now says they'll reassess negotiations with the U.S., saying, quote, the United States is undermining this process through contradictory messages, frequent shifts in its positions and demands, and repeated violations of the ceasefire.
And Iranian state TV reporting that Iran's president today saying that the, quote, neither war nor peace scenario must be resolved. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, New York.